Okay, welcome back. Welcome to our review of The Power of the Doctor. And, oh boy, that was a big one.
I mean, I don't know what to say, man. My mind is in shambles. Did you cry, Griffin?
No, but did you?
Of course I cried. I bawled like a baby.
I knew you would. Yeah, I'm just emotionless. I'm gonna start by saying that I think Chibnall did it. He delivered on a conclusion to this era that has been a little iffy, but
No,
I think he delivered it. He delivered a really solid ending to it. It is by no means a perfect episode, but like the flaws just don't matter at the end of the day because of how just like fun it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I completely agree. I thought that was awesome.
The episode definitely had a lot going on. At some points, it definitely felt like it was a little packed. But on the whole, I think they actually did a pretty good job of balancing all the different elements that were going on. They had a lot of characters, a lot of plot lines, and they were able to make it somewhat work. In the beginning and the end, there was a little bit of just feeling the strain of how much was going on in the episode, which was expected, which is why I think it's impressive that they were able to balance it, or Chibnall was able to balance it as well as he did.
Yeah, like early on, first act, I definitely felt that the Master and the Cybermen and the Daleks all being villains and not being all like thoroughly woven in together yet. But then when they all came together and like they really just focused on the Master, it was good.
Let me say, Sacha Dhawan, that guy was just born to play the Master. He just absolutely commanded the screen in this episode for everything he was in. He just dominated it. This version of him was like the same Master, but just like more insane. Like everything just like leveled up a notch to like the insanity of it, and he just pulled it off so well. Like he just absolutely nailed it.
My favorite moment in the whole episode is when like it was cool how he was like he was supposed to be Rasputin this whole time, which I liked, and when they played the song and he was like dancing. Like,
I know that there are gonna be people out there that did not like that scene, but I love that scene. And then you had the Dalek and the Cyberman like turn to each other and just gave that like look. I thought that was hilarious.
This episode would not have worked nearly as well if it was John Simmer and Michelle Gomez. As much as I love them too,
I agree.
Style of Master is just so good for Sasha.
It's true.
And Sasha is so good for it.
I mean, I've already said that I think he's my favorite Master, and I think even more so now.
I think now I have to agree with you. This whole episode visually looks fantastic.
For sure. I will say, the opening scene with the train, that scene was a little much.
Yeah.
Visuals and the music they had going was really loud, and there was just a lot going on in that scene. It was a little hectic.
Yeah,
a little bit. Dan basically left the TARDIS very early in the episode.
That was kind of weird.
On the same way that Ryan and Graham did, he just kind of willfully was like, I'm out of there, which this is the first time, really, I think we've had someone leave just because of how dangerous it was, and them saying, I'm done with this because of the danger, which I really liked that they did that. I thought that was a really good way to do a companion departure that we haven't seen before. The way it was handled in the scene, like the Doctor and Yaz didn't even skip a beat. They knew we'd be fine. They weren't worried at all. Whereas Dan is like, I almost died, and I think that's good that they acknowledge it like that, because that kind of stuff happens a lot.
I feel like the end of a Doctor's run should and often does bring in a lot of the characters from said Doctor's run. And oftentimes I don't think it's done great. I think it's done too much. But this episode brought in, we got to see Kate Stewart again. In the past, I didn't like how she was used, but she was really, really good in this episode, to the point where I was screaming at my TV when she almost died. Tegan and Ace kind of came out of nowhere, but they worked really well. They felt purposeful. Even Vinder popped up. I wish we just got a quick scene at the end with Vinder coming home to Belle and Carbonista, and then their kid.
Carbonista.
And they'd be like, "Oh, where were you?" And he'd be like, "Oh."
Ace and Tegan, I don't think either of us have seen a single full episode with them as companions, but I still felt the meaning of them being there and all that.
Oh yeah.
So I thought it was handled well.
Speaking of which, were you expecting to see a bunch of those classic Doctors?
I can't say I was. No. Again, it's like, I mean, of the ones that were there, it was Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann.
We didn't see Tom Baker, which worries me. If he's secretly dead somewhere, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm telling you now, I'm going to lose my mind. Because he always pops up. When was the last time you've seen Colin Baker in the flesh be the Doctor? Never.
Oh, none. I mean, none of those guys have been in
Never.
the show since they left, yeah.
I know. So I liked it. I thought they were added in great at the perfect times. And I love seeing Sylvester McCoy on with Ace. And Davidson, I think, with Tegan. Even though I haven't seen their episodes,
I know. It's
they
weird.
felt like they belonged together. Yaz, I really like what they did with Yaz and the Doctor. They easily could have done this big, dramatic kiss, and it was like, oh, I love you. And she would have been like, I love you too. But I like that they just gotta like...
That was not...
Exactly. They just gotta eat ice cream together. And I like how Vinter, or I like how Yaz left. I like how it wasn't like, no, I'm staying with you. It was like, I should leave. I gotta water my cat.
What? As good of a job as I think this did of wrapping up this era, it didn't do it completely. Because, for one, there was no mention of the Timeless Child thing. That's just a real disappointment, because it just leaves it at a point of, like, what even was the point? And plus, we got no explanation for the fugitive Doctor. She still makes absolutely no sense. How is she calling herself the Doctor? How does she have a TARDIS, a police box TARDIS, when we know the first Doctor is the one that took the TARDIS?
Alright, I'm going to explain that right here. One,
right, let's hear it.
The only time we saw her with her TARDIS was when she was on Earth, and the time she got there was probably around the time of police boxes. Second, wasn't she working with the Vision? They probably loaned her a TARDIS.
There's no way it
Speechless.
just happened to be a police box. It does not add up. There needed to be more explanation for that. It didn't have to be in this episode. It should have come before this. The other thing was the resolution to the whole volcanoes destroying the whole world and all that didn't really feel right to me.
That was just so rushed.
Yeah, it was pretty rushed. Like, that's one of the times when you definitely feel the amount that was packed into the episode, because that got rushed.
I agree.
There was some clunky dialogue and all that kind of stuff that I feel like you normally get, but none of it felt like it was like really dragging the episode down. Like, we had the whole plot line of the Master trying to like become the Doctor.
Oh, that was kind of
weird. Which I can't say I fully understand, because like,
oh yeah,
how are you gonna say you are the Doctor when you're clearly not? Because you're still the Master, acting like the Master. I mean, whatever, it is what it is. It was a good plot line. I enjoyed it for what it was. And we had the like costume mashup thing going on. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I like seeing. I guess the second Doctor's flute, right?
Yeah, the recorder.
That recorder was colorful. I always assumed that recorder was like white.
You would, because it was in black and white. So yeah. So, shall we talk about the regeneration?
All right. So first, I just want to say that I really like the Doctor's death. I think the fact that it was. I hate when the Doctor like knows they're dying for the longest time, which we've gotten so far with 12, 11. 10. I like how it just happened. That's how death is. In a way, that's a very strong message. Death just happens. You can't prepare for it. I like that the Master did it. Like, it was the Master's fault.
The Master has given so many threats of killing the Doctor, but he never seems to actually do it.
Exactly.
The regeneration itself, like the whole lead up and the scene itself and all that, was really well done. Like, it was really good.
Yeah.
Like, it was a unique way to do it, and it was a really good, well thought out way to do it. Yaz carried her in. And at first she was, like, in denial, like, she's fine, which I appreciated, because that's a very, like, realistic
it's
kind
very
of
human
reaction to have. Yeah. And then she's just, like, surrounded by all her people.
Extended fam.
And then she wakes up, and she knows what's happening, and Yaz seems to know what's going on, too. And they just have a really, like, real reaction to it.
They get ice cream, man, which I think is the best way to end the 13th Doctor's era. Because I think number 13 is like a kid at heart, man. And I think that seems like the most her way to go out.
That scene was really great, and it was really well performed by both of them. And then you had that intercutting of her preparing for the regeneration after dropping off Yaz and all that.
Oh, that, like, companion group. I was bawling my eyes out at that. And my mom was looking at me like, are you okay? Do you need medical help?
And
I was like, no, Mom, I'm not.
That's how you know it did the job. When you got reactions like that from your audience. And then she, smartly actually steps outside of the TARDIS.
We've always said this. We've always said, just walk outside the TARDIS.
I know.
Finally.
And just, like, kind of, like, is very sad about it, but also very accepting about it.
Yeah. Unlike the 10th Doctor, who just cried like a baby.
Exactly. She regenerates, and then David Tennant, which we all knew might happen. And It actually happened. And turns out all those rumors from way back that everyone dismissed and
Yeah.
was like, that's ridiculous, it was actually completely accurate.
Just give me I just want your thoughts on that.
My thoughts on that are complicated. It's a lot of just excitement. There's a little bit of like questioning your mind of like, we're really going backwards that much. Like we got Russell T Davies and David Tennant and Catherine Tate, like really stepping like right back into that era again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, why not? Like, it worked before.
That's
and
stupid.
I'll enjoy seeing it again. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what's going on, or how that's happening, and how that fits in the timeline either. Of like, is he the 14th Doctor?
At this point in Doctor Who, like, time, we know that the numbers we give the doctors don't actually add up. So, no,
Okay,
if I hear anyone, like, on the street refer to David Tennant as the 14th Doctor, I'm warning you now, I will slap you.
That might be the way it goes down.
Well, someone's gonna slap then. I'm sorry. Like, didn't the 10th Doctor, like, split himself? Like, he put his regeneration into the hand, and, like, that was a different Doctor. Are you telling me that David Tennant is the 10th Doctor, 11th Doctor, and 14th Doctor? Because that's just mental, man. This could be either a really good thing or a really bad thing. It just goes about how Davis explains it. Like, if he just, like, explains it like, oh, this is the 14th Doctor, it's just a 1 in a million coincidence, then I'm gonna be mad, because that's stupid. And also, Catherine Tate, God, Donna was written off so well.
But, like, I have faith in Davis that he's not going to mess it up. He's not going to mess up these characters.
Oh, he's never messed anything up. I think Davis is actually the worst writer in New Who. It's Chibnall, Moffat, Davis.
You're saying Chibnall's the best showrunner?
I'm saying Chibnall's the best showrunner. I salute you.
Wow, you just... Alright, I mean, that's your opinion.
I'm going to take a picture of him and tape it right here. I'm not joking. I'm going to do that. I do think that if Davis does this right, and I mean, from what I've seen, he's grown as a writer since his last time greatly. If this new era is even half as good as either of the two shows I've seen,
those being
years and years into sin, if it's half as good as those, then it'll be a good era.
Alright, I think that was a really good episode, really good ending to this era of the show. Time will tell if it ages and if I'm able to see the flaws on a rewatch, because the first time you watch it, with the amount of excitement going on with just like the cameos and the regeneration and all that stuff, like that's what you notice. But on a rewatch, it's possible that you'll notice the flaws more. So we'll have to see how it ages like that. But I think it was a good episode. I mean, it's meant to be viewed like it just was, and I had a really, really good time with that episode. So I think it was a success.
When you get back, by the end of the year, we need a post to revisit it.
What do you think? Should we? We'll ask our viewers. Should we bring back Doctor Who Revisited?
What do you think?
Only
this
true
is all
fans
on
will
you
know.
right now. Watching, comment down below, and if you say no, then we just won't do it. Are you gonna plug my TikTok for me?
I mean, you can do it if you want to.
Go follow me on TikTok.
Pause everything.
Put it in, right, Griffin?
Kernan would like to plug his TikTok account. Go ahead.
It's right here. Go find me on TikTok.
All right, that is it for today, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, that was almost simultaneous. I'm worried about Tom Baker, man. Why would Tom Baker's like the #1 doctor? Oh, he's dead, man, for sure.